With me today is Nicole Anderson, a full-time director in Northland. She sits on the board of our regional economic development agency, Northland Inc, and is a member of the Northland DHB and NorthTec. She has business interests in the retail, farming, and manufacturing sectors. Just for good measure, she's also a member of Te Runanga Iwi o Ngapuhi and the New Zealand Conservation Authority. Tēnā koe, Nicole, how are you today?
Morning, Peter. I'm good today.
Tell me, Nicole, what's the coming economic recession likely to look like for Northland?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We're really reliant on a lot of what happens internationally. So in terms of how are we looking? Well, I think businesses have already done what they can do to react and to plan to get through at least this year. But we've talked a lot about collaboration. We've talked a lot in Northland about innovation. You know, what can we do with the logging sector? What can we do around value-add product? And there are so many ideas out there and so many passionate people, but we just don't seem to have really crystallized those ideas. So hopefully one of the things we can achieve out of this is some new thinking and some new action.
So in terms of crystallizing those ideas, what kind of actions are you looking for from Northland's business leaders as a cohort, as a group, rather than in their sort of individual bubbles or corporate company bubbles? What kind of action do you think our business leaders, people like you, can take to come up with that kind of coordinated approach and coordinated thinking that you were talking about?
Yeah, well, I keep going back to the same old things. It's about collaboration. So we've got lots of networks already set up, lots of groups of people who are working together. Councils are working with businesses. Organisations are working with businesses, agencies. But the other thing we need to really do is advocate for Northland. So we need to think about a way, when we do come together to have these discussions, about some collective views in terms of what we want to advocate for. And I think Sue Davey mentioned that, if we're going to go to central government, go with one songbook, sing from the same song sheet. If we're going to talk to research and development companies, can we all go together with the 2 or 3 things that we want to focus on for Northland? So I think the collaboration is key, and I think the talking to each other and advocating for a collective set of priorities is going to be critical.
Te Tai Tokoro has been notorious for speaking with many tongues. What can we do as a community to come together across the communities, across the wealth divides, across the socioeconomic groups and across the racial groups, to cut out all of that multi-tongue speaking and to create that single voice that pretty much every single speaker in the series has pointed to as being necessary?
Yeah, look, you're never going to achieve that completely, I don't think. There's always going to be people who want to have their time in the sun and have their opinions, but we do have enough groups, and I know that Northland Inc is part of a wider interagency group for Northland. But key for that is it's great for all of our non-business groups to be collaborating, but really cool to see that they're engaging with business. So that's been a real that's been the silver lining of this, is that they have reached out and started talking with business, helping them plan, thinking about the modelling around where they'll get to, looking at what the statistics are and what the data is going to be looking like. So getting help, helping each other really. So I think that's going to be critical. We've got the networks, we've got the groups of people, but we just need everybody to keep talking, and especially with businesses, farming community, our poor tourism businesses. I mean, they already know what they've got to do. They've already done their planning, but we just need to keep talking.
Can you give me some examples of the kind of cooperation that's been going on between communities and businesses that you referred to just a minute ago?
Yeah. So there are a few things that are happening. So I know Northland Inc is talking intensively with businesses on the ground. They've had a massive increase in that communication throughout this COVID period. I know that talking to a friend over in Bay of Islands, he's the Bay of Islands Tourism Group is working with council. Was thinking about one of our own projects, Māori Footprints of Kupe out on the west coast. They're talking with Māori tourism. So businesses are talking with government agencies to gather data and gather intel on how to approach this. And that's what we need. And it's going to be quite tricky to get that information because it's changing all the time. But we just have to keep talking.
Has that relationship shifted over the last couple of weeks between government agencies and local businesses? Have barriers been broken? Have channels been opened? Are there greater efficiencies than there have been previously?
Yeah, I'm sensing that they have, and that's probably just come out of urgency. I mean, it takes a crisis to reset how you do things, but I've had some good feedback from people that are engaging in those sort of enhanced relationships, and yeah, everyone's in one of those networks. So I guess you're right, Peter. We've just got to connect.
What do our communities need to do to pull Northland out of economic recession?
We can keep our kids in training. So if they haven't got jobs anymore, get them into training. It's a really good time to either retrain if you're a big kid, or if you're a young person, parents and grandparents need to get them into some sort of training. So the thing that worries me around retraining is that we're moving into an increasingly digital age, and we're moving much faster with coronavirus than we ever would have before. So, we already know that thinking about the far north at least, and Northland, I guess, to some extent, we were kind of being left behind in that future of work picture. And this is going to mean we need to shift people faster into that sector, or we are just going to be left with the low paid jobs. So that's why innovation is really important, and we do need to push to collaborate on that.
How important do you think the primary industry sector is in acting as an economic lifeboat for our region?
I would say that it's critically important. Our farming communities are carrying us along at the moment. Logging, I hear, going back, the trucks will be back on the roads on Tuesday. One of our boys was telling me. So those are really positive, and Northland being a provincial town, primary industries are important for us. So yeah, they'll carry us some way through this, and we're really lucky to have them. But we need to help keep people who are employed in those industries employed. So we need to be quick to switch them. If logging, for instance, with logging slowing down, there was talk about moving them through to infrastructure as quickly as we could. Yeah. And in terms of the Māori unemployment, that'll be really important as to how we do that. Yeah.
There's a strong drive for buy local. Pre-COVID, there was a strong resistance to buy local because people locally felt that local retailers were marking products up beyond what was reasonable, and it was easier to buy online or to travel down to Auckland and buy products there. How do you think that's going to shift, if at all?
Yeah, no, I think we will see a big change there. When COVID hit, my husband was the first one to say, well, look, he felt that there were going to be certain things that would have to be manufactured in New Zealand from now on. Yeah. Whether, just essential things, whether that's PPE, certain parts of, the supply chain that we have to have here, whether it's certain pharmaceuticals, whether it's, equipment that the transport sector needs. We need to rethink what we produce here in New Zealand so that we can, in these times of emergency, and not knowing how long Corona is going to go on for. Listening to WHO this morning, they're envisaging it's going to be a long haul. So, yeah, we do need to think about what we produce here in New Zealand, and the best way to get the Northland economy going is to buy local.
And what do we need to do here in Northland to make the region a more attractive option for people wanting to set up manufacturing bases in New Zealand?
I think we need to have places they can come. So the Innovation Park at Ngapuhi was last year an amazing project, and we're really hoping to see that get off the ground soon. Once those sort of epicentres are established, I think people will come here for the far north. I mean, we've got Marsden and Whangarei, so we do have places where we can set up, you know, some of those new industries, pull them out of Auckland. But until we've got, you know, the infrastructure there, people won't, it's too hard for people to relocate. But in terms of pricing, you know, it's an attractive option for them to come up here. The only negative to that is distance to market, but that may change with rail coming on board. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes over the next year.
Superb. Well, Nicole Anderson, it's been nothing but a pleasure to talk to you as ever. Thank you very much for your time, and all the very best.
Thank you, Peter. Great idea having this conversation. Kia ora.
Thank you, and all the very, very best to you and those in your bubble.